Hello students, this video is about the pupillary light reflex. As we have observed that whenever light is shown into one of the eye, the response is the pupillary constriction. So let us see the pathway how the light source causes the constriction of the pupil. So let us start with the two eyes, the right and the left side eye. These are the eyes. And this is the right side and this is the left side. This starts as the optic nerve, goes as the optic chiasma and the optic tract, and I'm going to draw few of the nuclei which are involved in the light reflex, which are present in the midbrain. The one among them which is present in the upper midbrain is the pretectal nucleus, present on both the sides, on the right and the left side. And then you have the Edinger-Westphal nucleus, again present in the midbrain. And in addition to that, you have two ganglions, the ciliary ganglion, one on each side of the body. So you have these are the structures which are present, and they are the pretectal nucleus. This is the pretectal nucleus of the right side, and this is the Edinger-Westphal nucleus of the right side, and this is of the left side. Similarly, this is the left pretectal nucleus. Now this is the ciliary ganglion. So we are going to show the light on one of the eye and see what is the response. So let me just show you a light source. So this is the light source. So I'll just write it as the light source. So light is shown into the right eye, and when the light is shown into the right eye, you have the photosensitive retinal ganglion cells, on the right eye. They convey the information to the right optic nerve. This is the right optic nerve, and they connect to the right pretectal nucleus. So they connect to the right pretectal nucleus. So this is the right optic nerve. So when the light source hits the right eye, the retinal ganglion cells, they respond to the light source and convey the information through the right optic nerve, which connects to the pretectal nucleus, which is present in the upper midbrain. Now from the pretectal nucleus, the axons then connect to the neurons in the right Edinger-Westphal nucleus. They connect to the right Edinger-Westphal nucleus. And from the right Edinger-Westphal nucleus, the axons run along the oculomotor nerve, the preganglionic oculomotor nerve fibers, which end in the ciliary ganglion. And from there, the postganglionic fibers, they begin in the ciliary ganglion and innervate the muscle of the eye, which is called as the sphincter pupillae. So this is the pathway. So you have the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. From there, the neuron which begins is the third cranial nerve. which is also called as the oculomotor nerve. This is the preganglionic fiber, and this is the postganglionic fiber, which is the short ciliary nerve. Short ciliary nerve. The muscle which it innervates, which is present in both the eyes, is the sphincter pupillae. It is the sphincter pupillae, which is present in both the eyes. This is the sphincter pupillae muscle. And whenever the sphincter pupillae muscle is innervated or activated, it is a constrictor muscle of the iris, and it leads to pupillary constriction. So the light source, if it is shown into the right eye, the retinal ganglion cells get stimulated. They convey the information through the right optic nerve, reach the pretectal nucleus. The neurons from the pretectal nucleus, they go to the Edinger-Westphal nucleus, which is again present in the midbrain. The Edinger-Westphal nucleus is a nucleus for the third cranial nerve. So the preganglionic fibers begin from the Edinger-Westphal nucleus and end in the ciliary ganglion. From there, the postganglionic fibers, they end in the, or they innervate the sphincter pupillae muscle, and this is the constrictor muscle of the iris, thereby causing pupillary constriction on the same site. This reflex is called as the direct reflex. It is called as the direct light reflex. So in the same eye, you have the direct light reflex. Because the light is shown into the right eye, and the right eye is constricted, or the right pupil is constricted. Now it is observed that if you shine a light into one of the eye, the other eye also, the pupil of the other eye also constricts. Now let us see what is the pathway for the constriction of the eye in the constriction of the pupil in the other eye. It is observed that from the pretectal nucleus, the neurons not only project to the Edinger-Westphal nucleus of same side, they also project to the Edinger-Westphal nucleus of the opposite side. They also, the neurons project to the Edinger-Westphal nucleus of the opposite side, and from there the neurons, that is the third cranial nerve, preganglionic fibers, they end into the ciliary ganglion, and from there they project to the sphincter pupillae muscle, and the nerve is the short ciliary nerve, and this is the postganglionic fiber. So this is the ciliary ganglion, and this is the Edinger-Westphal nucleus, same as this. This is the pretectal nucleus of the left side. So the pretectal nucleus of the right side not only projects to the Edinger-Westphal nucleus of the same side, it also projects to the Edinger-Westphal nucleus of the opposite side. From there, the neurons project to the third cranial nerve, or the oculomotor nerve. Oculomotor nerve, or the third cranial nerve, they project to the ciliary ganglion. From there, the short ciliary nerves innervate the sphincter pupillae muscle, and the sphincter pupillae muscle is the constrictor muscle of the iris, and this causes the pupillary constriction. So if you shine a light into one of the eye, there is constriction of both the pupils. The constriction on the same eye is the direct right reflex, and the constriction on the opposite side of the eye is called as the indirect right light reflex, or it is also called as the consensual light reflex. Similarly, if you shine a light into the left eye, in the left eye, the pupillary constriction occurs through the left optic nerve. it goes to the left pretectal nucleus, from there to the left Edinger-Westphal nucleus, left ciliary ganglion, through the short ciliary nerves to the left sphincter pupillae muscle and cause constriction of the pupil, and that constitutes the direct light reflex. If you shine a light, opposite eye also constricts, that is the right pupil constricts. The pathway is from the left pretectal nucleus. The neurons also project through the right Edinger-Westphal nucleus, from there to the right ciliary ganglion, to the right sphincter pupillae muscle, and thereby cause constriction of the pupil. Now the question arises if there is a lesion. If there is a lesion to the right optic nerve, if there is a lesion to the right optic nerve. So if you see, this is the, now if there is a lesion to the right optic nerve, what is going to happen? If in the right eye, if the light source is applied to the right eye, the information cannot reach to the pretectal nucleus. So the direct reflex is absent in the right eye if there is lesion of the right optic nerve. But the reflex, the consensual reflex is also absent because the information cannot go through the right optic nerve, and the consensual reflex in this case is seen in the opposite eye. Now if at the same time there is damage to the right optic nerve, but if you shine a light into the left eye, the left optic nerve is intact, so the direct reflex is present on the same site, and the indirect reflex, which does not involve the optic nerve, goes to the Edinger-Westphal nucleus of the opposite side, ciliary ganglion and the sphincter pupillae. So the indirect reflex on the right side is present. So this is what happens if the right optic nerve is damaged. The direct right reflex is absent on the same site, and consensual light reflex on the opposite side is absent. But if you shine a light into the left eye, the direct as well as the consensual light reflex are present because the right optic nerve is not involved in the reflex where the light is shown into the left eye. So if the oculomotor nerve is damaged, now consider a situation if there is a lesion in the right oculomotor nerve. So this has been damaged. The oculomotor nerve is the third cranial nerve. This is damaged. So if this is damaged, if you shine a light into the right eye, it goes to the right optic nerve because that is intact, goes to the pretectal nucleus, goes to the Edinger-Westphal nucleus, but from there it cannot go to the ciliary ganglion and constrict the pupil. So the direct light reflex is absent. Now the indirect light reflex also involves the right optic nerve, goes to the pretectal nucleus but goes to the opposite Edinger-Westphal nucleus, goes to the ciliary ganglion and the sphincter pupillae and causes constriction because the left oculomotor nerve is intact. So the direct reflex is absent and the indirect reflex is present if the light is shown into the right eye. Now if there is damage to the third cranial nerve or the oculomotor nerve on the right side. Now what is going to happen if you shine a light into the left eye? It passes through the left optic nerve, reaches the pretectal nucleus, goes to the left Edinger-Westphal nucleus, ciliary ganglion and the sphincter pupillae because the left oculomotor nerve is intact, and so the direct reflex is present. But if the light is shown from the pretectal nucleus, it goes to the opposite Edinger-Westphal nucleus. From there it does not reach the right side because the oculomotor nerve is damaged, and therefore direct right reflex is present but the indirect is absent if the light is shown into the left eye if there is damage to the third cranial nerve. So these are the points or the importance of the pupillary light reflex.